I believe that real, true election integrity means doing investigations, doing recounts, showing everything. Show it.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, in everything to prove that you are a bully and a
CatLoveDreamingInc.com.
Hashtag question fraud.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. So I just got home from dropping my kids off, and I gotta get
Auto-generated captions
inside.
might be mofo typos, yeah.
At 3 a.m. last night, I wanted to make this video, but I was like, oh my god, I'm way too tired, and it's too late, and it's too dark, so why don't I wait till the morning? Which is now. It's the morning. It's Wednesday morning. And the thing that I really want to say is, are they really gonna effing let this monster, this Trumpian monster, are they really going to let this man destroy our country? So last night I found the White House website, and there's a place where you can contact the president, and I wrote a letter. I wrote 2 letters actually, and of course it probably goes to some kind of White House administration person who scans those online letters, and does it ever actually get to President Biden? I don't know. Is he going to do anything about it? I don't know. But that was my question. Like, I understand that we had an election. I understand that we allowed this man to run, but I still don't understand that. I don't understand how an adjudicated rapist, a 34-count felon, a man who should be being sentenced to the big house prison, is being handed the keys to the White House. And the thing is that he is already trying to implement these highly unconstitutional, illegal crimes and schemes. And everybody is making videos about all of the horrible things that are about to unfold because of these plans. And it's like a slow motion, complete annihilation and destruction that everybody can see the result of, but they're just going to let it happen? Like, what the Like, is this for real, the world that we're living in, where a criminal like that is going to be allowed to just do what he wants to do? Oh my god. Was it Michael Popak was saying? He has a different reality. Nobody ever holds him accountable. Nobody ever forces him to be held accountable for his crimes, to answer for what he's done. There's a different set of rules for him. Like Michael Popak was saying, even the way that his cases were handled, it was delayed and delayed and delayed. Delayed so much that it ran into the next presidential election. And then he started using that as excuses, like, well, you can't prosecute me now because it's literally election. But it was like years before. Like, they waited. They basically handed this man a pass. And I'm disgusted at Jack Smith. I'm disgusted at Judge Juan Merchan. I'm disgusted at Judge Chutkan. I'm disgusted that everybody is just placating this criminal and preparing to give him the nuclear codes and literally handing him the keys to the White House. And he is literally saying to the world, I'm going to destroy all of the systems that you have built up built up. I'm going to dismantle them. I'm going to install my own oligarchy. I'm going to just destroy the departments that keep America safe and running smooth and educated and protected and healthcare and the economy. And I'm just gonna destroy it because I fucking want to. Whoopie-dee-doo, it's fun for me. I'm gonna make a lot of money off of y'all's. And they are just letting it happen. Like, are we too diplomatic to say no to a Schmittler? Are we actually gonna just hand over our country to this fucking cabal of criminals? This organized crime, this group of thieves and rapists and misogynistic, racist xenophobes who want to make a Holocaust 2.0. This is the man. This is the group of people. This is the fucking crime cartel that our government is going to allow. And nobody wants to talk about election fraud. Nobody wants to talk about the weird, shady things that happened. Everybody wants to say, oh, he won. He definitely won. Everybody voted for him. And I don't know how it happened, but it happened. And let's just ignore the fact that the richest man on earth was pouring millions, hundreds of millions into it. The richest man on earth, who also just happens to have satellites, who also just happens to have all kinds of technology, who has nefarious and evil plans. But no, he didn't do anything. He was just all magical. This man who literally had nothing to say but horrible, racist, xenophobic, misogynistic threats. That man won. You want me to believe that 50% of this country wants a rapist, criminal, felon to run our country? I don't believe it. And so many people, so many Democrats are so goddamn afraid to sound like a MAGA zealot nutcase. They don't want to, well, MAGA said that Trump won and that, Biden actually lost. And if I say that now I'm going to look just as crazy as them. Well, fuck it now that's how crazy we are. That's the other thing. Midas Touch, I am so disgusted and disappointed. I can't even bear to watch them anymore because they refuse to talk about it. Jessica Denson, who was somebody who was on their channel, she had her own show, but like on their channel, she left because she said Ben Meiselas tried to silence her about talking about the potential. I'm not even saying that it was stolen or it was absolutely fraud. Just the potential, just talking about, let's research, let's do an investigation, let's do a recount, let's look into all these weird and shady anomalies and discrepancies and weird things and uncounted ballots and all that stuff. No, we're not even allowed to. You're not even allowed to question it. Why? It's like the man, that's the other thing that disgusts me about them, is that they spent all this time talking about how dangerous he is, what a danger to democracy he is, talking about how whatever he lies about is what he's doing. When he says XYZ, when he says you over there, you're doing XYZ, he's doing XYZ. He's the one doing the thing. So him and his fucking group of criminals were saying for 4 years that the election was stolen, all this stuff, and now suddenly, miraculously, he wins this enormous win, so-called, although it's diminishing every day. But and nobody wants to question. You don't want to question did the cheater who always cheats and lies and steals, did he cheat and lie and steal? Oh no. The man who always cheats and lies and steals, the rapist, the criminal, the man who always cheats and lies and steals. He didn't cheat, he didn't lie, he didn't steal. He somehow magically won. He magically won the will of the people. It was free and fair. The man who's always a fucking cheater and a liar and a thief, he was free and fair. Don't ask questions. Look away. Allow the world to be destroyed in a fucking day. And we're not going to even dare to ask a question. If you ask questions now, you're just a crazy fucking MAGA. Well, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I seem crazy because I'm asking questions and I am not satisfied, and I'm not happy, and I'm not believing it. And I don't believe it. And maybe I'll just be another MAGA fucking crazy type. In the next 4 years, I don't believe it. On catlovedreamingpeach.com.
GetLoveDreamingPeach.com.
So I'm not surprised, but I am surprised. And I'm shocked and I'm disgusted, even though I'm not, because this keeps happening. But so my video was removed for community guidelines violations because election integrity is more important than being allowed to ask a question. So I'm asking questions about election integrity. I am a United States citizen. I voted, and I have a right to know if this election was actually done with integrity. I have a right to know that. I have a right to ask questions. I have a right to demand that the people in charge of these things ask the questions, do the investigations, be thorough, vet it, because I want to know that it's actually real and true and fair. And so do millions of other people. But platforms like TikTok will not allow you to question. What's insane is that I never said this election was stolen. I said question, ask questions, follow up, do the recounts, do the investigation, open things up, look at it closely. Look at the facts that this man is a 34 count felon. That is not a question. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. He is an adjudicated rapist 2 times over. There were 2 cases. Many people don't emphasize that. E. Jean Carroll took him to court for defamation the first time, and she won. He said that she was a liar and that he'd never met her and that everything that she said in her book about him graping her was a lie. So she took him to court for defamation because she said, you're lying. You did do these things. The only way that she could win a defamation case is by proving that the things that she said were true. Because if you're saying something and it's true, it's not defamation. Even if it's a terrible thing, if you're saying a terrible thing about somebody or a situation, but it is the truth, then you're not spreading misinformation. You're not defaming anybody. You're just simply stating truth, which happens to be awful. And that is exactly what happened. She proved that he was defaming her because he was lying about her. He was lying about her when he said that she was lying about the things that she said he did to her. And then she was awarded $5 million. He then turned around and he defamed her again. And he said, didn't happen, not true, she's a liar. Then, because of the Catholic priests who had been SAing kids for decades, and those kids growed up, and the statute of limitations had ran out, so the New York justice system, I don't know every single detail, but basically they created an extension so that people who had suffered through that had an ability to gain not criminal justice, because the statute of limitations had run out, so they weren't going to be able to get justice in the criminal court where they could actually send these perpetrators to jail, but they would at least be able to get civil court cases where they could get some kind of monetary award because of all that they had suffered. And because of that, E. Jean Carroll was able to sue him a second time, and not just for defamation, but actually for the SA. And the first jury unanimously found him guilty, or not guilty, I should say, liable, because it's not guilty in civil, it's liable. And then the second jury found him legally liable for defaming her and having raped her. And the judge made it clear this wasn't just SA, generalized SA. This was grape. Donald Trump graped her. These things are facts. These are legal documents, court cases. And a lot of these MAGA folks are like, nah, the whole court is corrupt. None of it's true. It's lawfare. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And the fact that TikTok will not allow people to speak on this, and not only TikTok, but the Midas Touch, censoring Jessica Denson, censoring anybody who wants to question. How can it be election integrity if you will not allow people to question? Just like in 2020, when MAGA said the election was stolen, and they claimed that Donald Trump had won and Biden stole it, stopped the steal, and they started an insurrection and all that stuff. And then there were 60 plus court cases, and all of them proved that the only election fraud came from Donald Trump and his side. So, now we're not going to get any court cases. We don't get to say, hey, recount. Hey, investigate. Hey, look into this. Hey, why is this discrepancy here? Hey, why did this X amount of people register to vote and come in and vote, but then there's only X amount of ballots counted? Hey, why is there discrepancy? Hey, where are the numbers? Why are they not there? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to save this video and just save it as private and then put it on my YouTube channel, because if I get another strike, I might lose my whole channel. And I only have 219 followers, and my channel is obviously shadow banned severely because I can't even get more than a dozen views, which means that my channel is shadow banned. So I also think my YouTube channel is potentially shadow banned, but I'm not going to allow that to scare me off from saying the things that I want to say, which is, if it's really truly has the integrity, if it's all on the up and up, fair and free and true, and 2.5 million people actually voted for him, not her, and 2.5 million less people voted, whatever the numbers are, let me check. So these are the numbers that are being reported. 226 electoral votes for Harris, 74, almost 1.5 million, 48.4%. 270 needed to win. Trump apparently getting 312 with 76.8 million, 50% of the vote. And these are the states. So apparently she lost the popular vote as well as the electoral vote. So either way you slice it, I guess the claim is that 2.5 million more people voted for him. 7 million less people apparently voted for Harris than for Biden, if that's accurate. However, daring to talk about these things or ask questions gets you violations because you're asking questions. So I'm trying to appeal this, saying why I disagree, and whether or not they will accept it or not. I hope they accept my appeal because I'd like to not have a strike. Like I said, I'm already shadow banned. Join me on my YouTube channel, Cat Love Dreaming Peach. Join me on my website, catlovedreamingpeach.com. Patreon, same name. And just, don't be afraid to ask questions. Just because they want to strike my videos, yes, that makes me sad and mad and angry because it's truly, I believe it's unconstitutional to not let people speak. But this is their platform, so they can do that. But I'm not going to stop speaking in general. I hope you also ask questions and Well, my content was restored, which is great. At least there's that. But like I said, I'm still shadow banned, but hopefully they remove the strike now.
catlovedreamingpeach.com.
Which is going to be private on TikTok, but I'm just going to compile it. So you'll be watching this on YouTube. So this is part 3. I decided that instead of just sharing parts 1 and 2, actually, why don't I just pull up the letters that I wrote and read them. And by the way, if you can hear all that loud noise outside, I have no idea what they're doing. I really don't. It sounds like they're doing something really loud.
Mofo
I don't know if
typos,
you can hear
yo.
it.
Typos.
So I wrote 2 letters to the office of the White House. It said, get in touch with President Biden. Like I said, I have no idea if he personally will see these. Probably not. There's probably hundreds of thousands, hopefully millions of people are writing in. So this is what I said. I do not believe that Donald Trump won this election. I'm reading over my cell phone to my computer. I do not believe that Donald Trump won this. I do not believe that Donald Trump won this election. I believe that there was corruption and some kind of cheating. He's a 34-count felon and a grapist. I didn't use the G. He is a fascist who wants to destroy this country and create the next Holocaust. Allowing this man to take office is unconstitutional and against all of humanity. I cannot sit by and just do nothing. Maybe writing a letter is not much, but I am begging President Biden, President Harris, I meant to say Vice President, but that's what happened. Please demand recount, look into the bomb threats, all the other shady, weird things that went on in this election. Donald Trump must be stoked, I meant to say stopped, and he must be sent to prison where he needs to spend the rest of his life. He is a danger to society, a danger to the country, a danger to the world. We cannot allow this man back in the White House. He needs to go to the big house, aka prison. Please do not let this happen. Sincerely, and my real name. And just to touch on the very sensitive point about a Holocaust 2.0, if he wants to send back. If he wants to gather up and drag 20 million people from where they are currently living and send them somewhere, I heard that his criminal dude, I don't even remember his name, and it's not even worth it to know it. He's scouring Texas for so-called concentration camps. And so 20 million is more than 6. It's more than double 6. It's more than 3 times 6. So he wants to not only create another Holocaust type event, but 4 times, 3 times of it, and people are just sitting by and letting this happen nonchalantly. Then I wrote a second letter. Dear President Biden and Vice President Harris, I've already written to request a recount and investigation into the election because I do not believe the results were fair, free, or accurate. I also want to request that Elon Musk be investigated for his part in potential election fraud. I don't believe it is constitutional for anyone to be allowed to buy an election. It is clear that there were many issues surrounding Elon's support of Trump that should be thoroughly investigated. I formally request that Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and all of their dangerous criminal associates be denied any access to national security information or any governmental bodies. There needs to be a full investigation and a refusal to give these criminals access to destroy our country and put all of our citizens and guests in the United States in grave danger. Please be the heroes that we truly need at this most perilous and crucial time in history. President Biden, you have been a truly wonderful, good, and honorable president. Vice President Harris, I truly believed you were going to be our next president, and I cannot fathom Trump being allowed back into this very important and powerful leadership role. None of those crooks, liars, cheaters, and grapists deserve any power without the G. J.D. Vance also should be investigated for all of his conflicts of interest, and his misogyny is outdated and out of touch. I still believe in the integrity of our Constitution and some of the leaders we have. Please be the leaders who can lead us through this and away from this burning cesspool of vile men and women who would be happy to cause World War III, bring back the enslavement of millions and millions of people, and destroy our economy for their own gain. The richest man in the world said things will get hard, and there will be hardship. But not for him. Not for Trump or the rest of the oligarchy. Will you allow this criminal organization to destroy countless lives? Or will you step in and prosecute these criminals? Obi-Wan, you're our only hope. That'd be Obi Biden Harris. I left out the motherfucker part. But that's what I am hoping, praying, and you know what? Call it a coup, call it an undemocratic overturning of an election. But I don't think so, because the motherfucker is a criminal. I spent the last week watching videos about the Schmatzis and the Schmittler, the original Schmittler, and there's a fly that just flew by. Was that the fly that was on Mike Pence's head? Mike Pence. What a disappointment. And I said in the other video, I'm disgusted at Jack Smith. And, in a way, maybe he's just trying to save his goddamn life. Maybe he realizes, oh shit, I've been trying to prosecute this guy, and for the past few years, he's been getting pass after pass after pass, after privilege, after entitlement, after special treatment, after just only for you, Donnie. And he has been trying to prosecute a man for crimes that he committed against the United States, against us. And maybe now he's like, shit, ain't nobody out here gonna save me. They're gonna leave me hang high and dry, leave me at the hands of this man who literally said that he would destroy me and come after me. And so now I guess it's every man for himself. I guess now it's just, oh well, the suck-ups are gonna go suck up, the kiss-ups are kissing up, the blowhards and the bend-overs and the brown noses and the sycophants and those who have no integrity and no backbone, who stand for nothing but their own financial gain, their own slithering in on their bellies, licking boots and ass cracks and sticking it in wherever they, like, bend over. Oh, how far down? How wide should I spread it? How deep do you want to bang it in? Just penetrate me with all your evil intentions. Painted blood red on the wall of all the disgusting, despicable, evil, criminal things that you're gonna do. Things that people have already done, and then that cause wars and destruction and countless millions of people that died. And all for naught, all for nothing, all for just for us to try to build it back up and save humanity from such a thing. And you're going to just hand it all over without a fight. You're not going to learn from history. How can I be sitting here in the year 2024 when I was learning about this shit way back in fucking 40 some fucking years ago, and now here we are back here again, but even worse because of all the technology and things? Like, what? Is this really going to happen? This is actually going to happen? Or is somebody going to actually say, no way? There's no way we're going to let this go down like this. Like, who are the real heroes? At this point, I'm wondering, who are the real heroes? And I don't know what that means or how that's going to play out, but this cannot be. I am not going to just accept that this is just a new reality. I don't know if I mentioned this part already or if I need to say it again, either way, but as I was studying about the Nazi Holocaust, one thing that became very clear was that when the leaders are pushing propaganda narratives, evil things that say this group of people or these groups of people are not human, parasites, poisoning the blood of the country, rapists, murderers, criminals coming from asylums, illegals, all of these disgusting negative ways of dehumanizing. And then they are empowered and want to, exterminate them and remove them. Like, you realize that mass deportation of millions and millions of people inevitably means that lots of those people are not going to have a happy ever after life somewhere else. That requires mass murder. And what I learned in studying a little bit that I did this week is that worldview coming into power empowers the worst of the worst. It brings out the worst of the best people. I mean, that's not true. Okay, no, that's not true. The best people are brought to the edge of their ultimate ability to extend humanity to others. Majority of people are frozen in fear and just paralyzed. Watch it happen and do nothing. Nothing to stop, nothing to help. And then the worst of the worst people, it brings out the worst in them. And then, as we know, even in a healthy democracy in peacetime, there are still those anomalies of people who are vicious murderers. And this mentality of cruel, barbaric extermination of humans, genocide, it brings out those people to the forefront because those are the people who are the most powerful and advanced, promoted the most in that world, because those are the people who will do the evilest stuff. It's said that in those concentration camps, those death camps, the security guards who weren't cruel enough, they would get killed. They would be made an example of. The security guards who were not harsh enough and vile and evil and cruel and sadistic enough were eaten up by the disease of this mentality. And that is what they want to unleash back into this world in power? There has to be a group of people who have power who are willing to stop this. There has to be. And I'm just hoping and praying and begging that they will do that. That there's enough people who still have some ability to do something who are not going to want to allow this to happen. Because there's nothing good that's going to come from this. Nothing. And even all of the Nazi rulers who were in power and living in palaces and castles, they all ended up dead. Almost all of them. Probably some of them escaped and managed to go off and live and live into old age. I know that there's still some Nazis probably who did horrific things that never got called to justice, but they certainly had to live in the shadows. I just hope and pray that something stops this from happening, because I'm terrified for me and my children and my family and my loved ones and everybody, every single person in this country. I am terrified about what would actually happen if this is allowed to go through. So many people are talking about, oh, the behind the scenes, like, something secretly, some big silent quiet movement behind the scenes, must be, and I'm wanting it to be true, but more and more each day that goes by, each concession, like yesterday, Biden and Harris apparently had some kind of thank you, farewell, we're still gonna fight, we're still fighting, squeak, squeak. Okay. You're gonna fight like that? I don't know. I don't want to end this on a bad note, but the motherfucker started up again, and I just really wanted to say, like, this is the kind of thing that brings out the worst of the worst and puts them at the forefront of power. And I don't think we should let that happen. What do you think? Unless you're MAGA, fuck off. Bye. Thank God.